Alright, let's go ahead and take the final render of the project together. From this section, let's temporarily disable the sky. I know we are in photo mode, and I think my camera needs a little more editing in this view. As we discussed, we adjust the lens amount here. Try to use lenses with higher numerical values. I'm setting it to 30 and moving back slightly. Perfect. Just like this. After you have set the exact camera location, hit the Store button here to update it. Otherwise, if you come back later, you will see it returns to the first saved point. Now, from this section, I need to initially select the atmosphere for my render. I plan to use an overcast setting. For now, let's work with a realistic daytime state. Folks, my first piece of advice is that you must adhere to the 8 critical points I'm sharing in this session for the final render. The first point is using these preset styles. These styles capture the overall atmosphere of the scene, but are not sufficient on their own. My first recommendation is that whenever you use these ready-made styles, be sure to manipulate and edit them to achieve the best result for your specific scene. Look, we can see the grass now. I don't know why, but in some styles the grass isn't displayed when we move away from the area. So keep this in mind. If I view the scene from a far distance, it doesn't show the grass. So I will set it up like this for now. Therefore, the problem was with the camera lens preventing this from happening. Okay, you might ask, we want a daytime render, so why is the weather set to night here? Because when we use this option, it doesn't matter what the local weather settings are. Our real sky, or our environmental light environment, is supplied through a high dynamic range image HDR, which is a 32-bit true image. We talked extensively about HDRI images in the Corona rendering course, explaining that they are real images captured from reality. Let's look at a few HDRI images together. Prominent companies include Real Light, Peter Guthrie, VizPark, and Vray Sky. There are many companies. No Emotion is also an older one you can rely on. I have VPPL version 3.2, and also a new Pro Pack that we've been using recently, which we downloaded from CG River. These HDRI images are fantastic in 2 different ways. Look, these are exactly real images, with a resolution written here as 20,000 by 10,000. Instead of saving the photo as a JPG, it saves it as an HDRI, which increases the dynamic range. This means that when your dynamic range or resolution is higher, the number of pixels is also greater. This high pixel count allows you to easily adjust the light intensity without distorting the image, bringing the exact lighting atmosphere into the software environment. Guys, we cannot load HDRI into Lumion, but the purpose of showing you these is to understand exactly what an HDRI is. I also want to place an area light. I've brought it in this shape and set its material to a secondary light using the same method. Now I return to Lumion and hit the import option. See, it's not showing FX here because it's set to max files. Let me switch it to FX there. It imported very easily, so we have no problem importing objects. Okay, I've positioned these. Now I just need to switch to all. I select these 3 and replace them with the object we just imported. Actually, we didn't need to import it that way, its gizmos will probably be corrupted. Let me check. No, the gizmos are corrupted, so let me place this manually here. This setup is sufficient. Let's move to its materials. I'll apply glass to this and metal to this. Guys, when selecting materials, for example, when I click Now, it selects the glass but not this orange part behind it. In such cases, zoom in a bit until the desired part is highlighted. Now click, see, it's selected. I can give this material a real standard, it's this color, and now I increase the emissivity so it generates its own light. Let me check the original light image. It has metal and light inside, so I'll give this metal, okay, like this. I think it also has material inside, yes, we'll give that light. I want to light this whole thing. We selected the glass incorrectly. Let's see if we can select this. We give this light too. To apply light, I open a white standard. For the color, I want to give it a warm white, for example. Of course, we don't get substantial light from here. We get the main light from our light source. We just want it to have a glow effect there. Yes, like this. Okay, I'll give these golden metal. Just be careful to press the final OK button. I made a mistake again. If you don't hit the final OK button, the material you just created will be ruined. See, I hit OK now, and it's finalized. Now, if I make a mistake here, it won't mess things up. Zooming in a little more is enough. That's it. Now the light is sufficient to be placed here. I go to the light section to select it. We have two types of lights, an Omni light and an IES light. I'll place this in the middle, right where our lamp is. I copy the whole thing, selecting both the lights and the object itself. I delete the original object, and now place the copies exactly in its position. I couldn't find lights of this shape in their libraries. This was for the exterior space. I scaled it so you can see how its light works. Yes, that's it. Place one on the other side as well. I think one in the middle is enough. We'll place one here too. Great. Guys, I had created the light layer here, but I don't think we transferred the objects to it. I'll temporarily hide the grass and environment layers to lighten the scene. Now, since we drew these objects on the grass layer, we must first transfer them to the light layer before proceeding. No problem. I'll do that. I select one of them and transfer all of them to the light layer. Okay, we need to transfer the lights themselves, not just the objects. Now I have transferred my spotlights. Select the Omni lights in the exact same way and transfer them to the light layer. Now we can easily hide the grass, which takes up the most space. See how light our scene became. Excellent. Let's place a few more lights here. Lighting in Lumion is exactly like Vray and Corona. You must analyze the spots where light naturally falls and place your lights accordingly. I'll use these. Click this so the light source itself is visible. Now we place it. A light box voxel like this should be enough for this area. Yes, this one. This is enough for this section too. I make its color yellower and turn it on. Guys, make sure to do this. Turn their ticks on. Look, I set its shadows to high. I wanted to give the best kind of shadow. Okay, now let me select the other spotlight. They are all selected and their illumination is on. Yes, let's place a linear light here too. I'm on the light layer. Okay, putting one of these here will look good. Let me place two. Yes, one white, one yellow. Fantastic. Great. We can do this for the interior too. But since the interior is empty and the glass is supposed to be shown as reflective, we won't add light inside. If we add light, we must furnish the interior. You can't put light everywhere, making the interior visible while it's empty. So there's a direct relationship. Okay, I'll save this. Let's go for the final renders of this project. You see how long this took? We are going to work a lot on these projects, both in this course and in the second season of Corona. Let's go to the photo section. You saw how I set up the camera. Great. It was in realistic mode. Let's change our HDRI now. We said that when you apply the initial effect, it's not enough. You must adjust the scene and choose the best result and effect. We said that we cannot apply night effects when using, say, the realistic style. Look, it destroyed the scene. So be careful. Only use the clear option from this section when applying the realistic style. Or you can use the morning section. But when you apply other effects like sunset, day, night, or overcast, you must choose from a whole range of overcast effects. Since my primary condition is to use a realistic setting, I'll choose one from these options. Well, I think this one is good. It just needs a little more overall brightness. I really don't like this pale blue sky. Like this. We can even adjust the exposure more than this. and that's fine. So that's our HDRI for now. Okay, the next option is sharpening. How sharp do you want the scene to be? Pay attention to these areas. It got too sharp here. I don't want that. No, this is enough. If needed, I'll do it myself in Photoshop. The very important section is color correction. Here, you must be careful. You either save the correction for Photoshop to do there, or you adjust it here. I'll try to adjust it now. First, the color temperature. Since I'm using sunny and warm weather, I'll shift the scene slightly toward warmth. Yes, like this. We cool it down in overcast mode. The tint here is very important. Remember we changed the green color here? For example, I'd say, make it a bit darker, whereas from here, you can unify or adjust the entire greenness of the scene. See, you either remove green or add it. I think this much is good. I'll turn off auto exposure. I'll adjust the exposure myself from here. This is good for a start. Do you remember those who worked with Vray? This option was recently added. How much we enjoyed it back then. We let it adjust the scene's exposure itself, although it's very relative and only approximates your suggested exposure. Most professionals never use auto exposure. They set the exposure themselves relative to the scene, because it's not difficult at all. Yes, that's it. We'll also add a little contrast. Contrast helps to slightly enhance the dark areas. We control the highlights from here. Move it up and down to see what happens. Highlights shouldn't die here. We need a lot of highlights. This much is good. Midtones are also important. I reduce it slightly. Shadows. See? They seem to collect in these corners. Also, the shadow itself. But before doing this, let me go to the shadows section. I'll move it toward exterior so it understands that my shadows are outdoor shadows. I also increase the shadow amount so that decent shadows appear in these sections, and I'll set this to sharp. Sharp is fine, I think. We have two very important ticks here that I think we talked about. Shadows. So if you use normal mode, you can check this box. It gives us very nice soft shadows. But if you want your shadows to be sharp, it won't work. It closes automatically. And in sharp mode, you can also use this option, meaning we want the smallest details of shadows to be calculated. Yes, this is... Since I turned off the trees here, I shouldn't expect an attractive result. I go back here. Now our shadows are being calculated properly, because when we canceled the trees, you saw it wasn't casting good shadows. Now see, we can see the sharp shadow here. Let me activate the auto exposure option here for now. Since the sun is higher, you saw that a good shadow wasn't coming in. No, this is what I wanted. Now we have a very good shadow here. I'll reduce the overall brightness a little for testing. Let's go to our highlights. Since we increased the highlight in color correction, see these parts increased. I also reduced the exposure. It looks very good. Let's also adjust the saturation a little. Excellent. This gamma is important, folks. The amount of burnout in the entire scene can also be controlled from here. How useful is Lumion's automatic update? It's like you're rendering every moment. Okay, let's go back to reflection. Let me see if I adjusted these. Preview was off. Its active value is 0. No, I didn't set it. Let's try again. Guys, where we said strong reflection emphasis is needed, like on glass, metals, or floors, where you want a very high reflection effect and more accurate calculations, you can use these options. I'll delete this one. Just these. Okay, its preview is on. See? Remember how it calculates? I turned this off. See how it calculates here? It's completely messed up. It's not showing us correct calculations there, but only if we use these two options. I'll set it to high quality. We want the best result for reflection calculations from Lumion. See how quickly it performed the calculation. Now, we just need to manage these areas. I go back into the scene. I need to reduce the reflection of this glass a bit. Reflectivity is at 7. I don't want that. The color is black too. Let's move it towards color slightly. If we want to move it towards color, then we must close the background, right? Okay, I'll make it slightly matte too, very little. Let's go deeper and see what happened. I really like the upper glasses. Let's use our same glasses. Yes, because this section also needs to be edited. For me to see these things in this section, these areas must be filled so we see a correct reflection there. So I must clean this area. The only thing I can do is to clear this. Instead of clearing it, let me make it invisible here, so the trees are visible in the render. Now the trees are visible in the continuation. We can even extend it more. It's okay here. See, now it's calculated here. I don't want to make it heavier than this. This much is enough. Excellent. Let's go into our scene. See, the reflection of these is now showing here. I can reduce its reflectivity even more. Okay, I'm going back. I'll place 2 buildings there so we don't have a reflection issue, because the reflection of the mountains looks bad here. See, it looks very good here. I just want to fix this area. I don't know what reflection is falling here. If we change our angle a little, it will be okay. I don't know what the problem is. The glass of these 2 is different. So let me copy this. Let's go back. I go to the utility section. We have an option here called reflection control. I place one of these here. This allows us to control the environment's reflection through this object. See, these areas change to a great extent. If you move it up and down, you can get different results. Yes, like this. Excellent. This is what I want. We can also change this area a little. I'll move this further this way. I don't want these trees to be too empty here. So these are the final edits, and you must perform all of them. You see that this takes up most of our time, playing with these effects and the scene's composition. I just don't like this part here. Let me see what we can do about it. This part is separated. Its grass is also less. Let me see which part this is. Separated? Those are from this single contaminated grass patch. This one doesn't have grass because the grass is on this side. We could have put some here too, but I think changing it now will look good. Let it stay like this. I'll just play with its scale a little. I'll rotate it a bit. We can fill these areas with objects. Okay, I select these 2 and move them to the grass environment layer. Also the ones I just placed. It got better. It's just too high. Wonderful. Let me save. Okay, we adjusted the reflections. Hyperlight is not very important either. But folks, there is a very important effect here that is usually not in the presets, called global illumination. Be sure to add this. It helps our work look realistic. It ensures that the GI calculations or global illumination happen more accurately. Because you know, due to its real-time nature, Lumion does not calculate GI physically like Corona and Vray. It performs the operation in a fake manner. Because of its real-time nature, Lumion does not calculate the GI operation precisely like Vray and Corona physically, and with the global illumination effect, we can simulate this in a fake way. Well, I've assigned it, but here, we cannot use the new ray tracing effect yet, and this is the reason. Let me assign one now. As we said, it currently doesn't support detailed objects and foliage, which causes them to render black and calculate incorrectly. Currently cannot use this. In its new options, they are gradually adding these. For example, they added reflection in its new version. I was checking the other day because by applying ray tracing, several main options seem to transfer to that effect for light calculations. Gradually, they will separate these 2. And it's just a matter of solving its biggest issue, supporting detailed foliage. If they solve this too, it will be fantastic, but the render time will also increase significantly. It becomes somewhat similar to Vray and Corona when we use ray tracing. Well, everything is good so far. Let's see what else I can add. I'll add God rays. We can use God rays a little in these areas. It looks good. I go back to the effects. Let's see what else is there. Most important effects are added through its ready-made presets. 2-point perspective correction was also gone because we cleared it. We'll definitely add it. Guys, check here. See that the tree is not floating above the ground. It's not floating now because we hid the surrounding wall section, which is why it looks like this here. Let me check this area. I'll bring this down like this. It got better. I don't like this one either. I think we can also delete this. I'll delete this single one for now. Let one remain. Let's go back to the main mode. We also assign 2-point perspective. We won't deal with the weather for now. When we switch to overcast mode, we can use the weather effect and give our ground and plants a wet look. I don't think Tilt Rotate does this. I'll delete it. I changed the color of all our plants. Yes, no special effect remained. I assigned this too. There were no special effects left. Now we could only use the depth of field effect. Let me check and see if the depth of field effect is useful here. I go to the camera effects section. I select depth of field. I hit edit. And from this section, I place my focal point exactly where I want the focus to be. I place it on the back building. I increase the blur amount slightly, and now through this you can specify that the background behind the building should be blurred. I increase its amount. I invert it from here. I think we placed it in a bad spot. I hit edit again. No, it's correct. I place it here. I wanted the backs to be in focus. Less amount. I want the bokeh to be visible like this too. Approximately this shape. Yes, it's good. I'll go back. I don't think any other effect remains. So I copy all these effects. Let's save once. I turn off the people layer because we want to use them in the animation. Try to do this yourself too. In the main renders you give to the client, use few people. If you do use them, don't use very foreign-looking ones, because it will cause trouble. Now it says, Mr. Diane, you have to hit it from the start. I copy the effects, I delete the effects here, and paste these. Now we can delete the extra depth of field. It's just bothering me here. I don't know what to do with the other one. I think we can make this one a little smaller. Yes, this much is enough. A little bigger. This much. Yes, it looks good. Great. That's this section. But now, see, it still doesn't show the grass. The reason is that we are using a camera that is farther away. It appeared. Well, it's good. But here, I won't use the same realistic setting, and I'll change the heading. It looks very good. No, this angle is better. I update it. I said you must search and find the best angle. Almost everything is visible. I increase its overall brightness. Let's go to this other one. No, I don't want to daytime render here anymore. Let's work with another effect entirely for this one. Let's go. I'll take these two first. Yes, everything is good now. Let's go for the final render and finish this session. I hit the render button. In the render section, we can set here whether we want one render, two, or however many. I wanted to take these two, so I remove these options. I also want separated element layers. I want a specular layer. Lighting should be included. Now sky can also be included. Well, I don't have much to do with the rest. Yes. Now let depth of field be included too. Let's take all of them once for testing. Okay, now you set the final render version and resolution here. HD, Full HD, or Print, which you can also use. If you don't have a very good system and want to render quickly and you want it to be somewhat better, you can take this one. Extra is another option. I'll hit Print. I specify the project location and wait for it to take the final render.